Hello, Internet. It's that time again. That's right. It's time to read the Bible. All right. So we're January 26th. Before I start, I will say I did look up that verse in the New American Standard Version and the New King James Version, and in neither version, um, I was right. It was a little different, but I still can understand why Catholics interpret it the way they do. So in this version, the Living, it goes, Peter the rock, on this rock I will build my foundation, blah blah blah. In the NS, in the New American Standard Version and the New King James Version, it doesn't reiterate that Peter is the rock, but at the same time, we know Peter means rock. It's been told to us before, so it's a very minor change. Uh, Again, just kind of re-emphasizing that particular interpretation. And again, I don't know. Catholics may be right. It seems odd to me that, we got 12 disciples. God has given the same message to all 12 of them. And he never really, anywhere else in the Bible that I'm aware of, says that the line of Peter is like this very important thing. So maybe they're right, but I don't interpret it that way. I see it as like, this is the foundation. I'm giving this foundation to you, the rock, and you are going to share this foundation with everybody. So it's not like Peter is the important thing, it's the message is the important thing. That's how I, as a Protestant, interpret most things in the Bible. The individuals, are not the important part. The important part is the message, the word, what is being told. So again, I was kind of right, but at the same time, it wasn't a very major change, so it was not significant enough to be called like a inaccuracy or anything. So we will continue on with Exodus chapter 2, verse 11. And I had fun with Kermit yesterday. Maybe we'll do that again. Kermit the Frog here. One day, many years later, when Moses had grown up and become a man, he went out to visit his fellow Hebrews and saw the terrible conditions they were under. During his visit, he saw an Egyptian knock a Hebrew to the ground, one of his own Hebrew brothers. Moses looked this way and that to be sure no one was watching, then killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. The next day, as he was out visiting among the Hebrews again, he saw two of them fighting. "What are you doing hitting your own Hebrew brother like that?" he said to the one in the wrong. "And who are you?" the man demanded. "I suppose you think you're our prince and judge. And do you plan to kill me as you did that Egyptian yesterday?" When Moses realized that his deed was known, he was frightened. And sure enough, when Pharaoh heard about it, he ordered Moses arrested and executed. But Moses ran away into the land of the Midian. Not just land of Midian. And he was sitting there beside a well. 7 girls who were daughters of the priest of Midian came to draw water and fill the water troughs for their father's flocks. But the shepherds chased the girls away. Moses then came to their aid and rescued them from the shepherds and watered their flocks. When they returned to their father, Reuel, he asked, "How did you get flocks watered so quickly today?" "An Egyptian defended us against the shepherds," they told him. "He drew water for us and watered the flocks." "Well, where is he?" their father demanded. "Did you just leave him there? Invite him home for supper." Moses eventually decided to accept Reuel's invitation to live with them, and Reuel gave him one of the girls, Zipporah, as his wife. They had a baby named Gershom, meaning foreigner, for he said, "I am a stranger in a foreign land." Several years later, the king of Egypt died, and Israelis, I said that horribly. Let's try again. The Israelis were groaning beneath their burdens, in deep trouble because of their slavery, and weeping bitterly before the Lord. He heard their cries from heaven, and remembered his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to bring their descendants back into the land of Canaan. Looking down upon them, he knew the time had come for their rescue. One day, as Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priests of Midian, out on the edge of the desert near Horeb, the mountain of God, suddenly an angel of Jehovah appeared to him as a flame in the firebush. Oh, that was worded odd. Again, this is usually a very specific phrasing. It's a flame of fire in a bush. Usually it's just shortened to a burning bush. You know, when Moses saw that the bush was on fire and that it didn't burn up, he went over to investigate. Then God called out to him, Moses, Moses! Who is it? Moses asked. Don't come any closer, God told him. Take off your shoes, for you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses covered his face with his hands, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord told him, I have seen the deep sorrows of my people in Egypt, and have heard the pleas for freedom from their harsh taskmasters. I have come to deliver them from the Egyptians and take them out of Egypt into a good land, a large land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and the land where the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites live. Yes, the wail of the people of Israel has risen to me in heaven, and I have seen the heavy tasks the Egyptians have oppressed them with. Now I am going to send you to Pharaoh to demand that you lead my people out of Egypt. I'm not the person for a job like that, Moses exclaimed. I'm so tempted to do that in a loud voice, but again, people are around. Then God told him, I will certainly be with you, and this is the proof that I am the one who is sending you. When you have led the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God here upon this mountain. But Moses asked, If I go to the people of Israel, tell them that their father's God has sent me, they will ask, Which God are you talking about? What shall I tell them? The sovereign God, was the reply. Just say, I am has sent me. Yes, tell them Jehovah, the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my eternal name, to be used throughout all generations. Call together all the elders of Israel, God instructed him, and tell them about Jehovah appearing to you here in the burning bush, and that he said to you this, I have visited my people, and I have seen what is happening to them there in Egypt. I promise to rescue them from the drudgery and humiliation they are undergoing, and to take them to the land now occupied by the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of the people of Israel will accept your message. They must with you to the king of Egypt and tell him, Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us and instructed us to go 3 days' journey into the desert to sacrifice to him. Give us your permission. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go except under heavy pressure. So I will give him all the pressure he needs. I will destroy Egypt with my miracles, and then at last he will let you go. And I will see to it that the Egyptians load you down with gifts when you leave, so that you will by no means go out empty handed. Every woman will ask for jewels, silver, gold, and the finest clothes from her Egyptian master's wife and neighbors. You will clothe your sons and daughters with the best of Egypt. That would be an interesting movie, like Muppets Exodus. Hmm. If I had more energy and put more thought on this, I probably would give each of the individual players their own Muppet voice. Like Kermit would obviously be Moses, but beyond that, like Ramses, maybe Fozzie or something. I'm not that good, at least not yet, or at least not that energetic. Alright. Anyway, we shall move on to Matthew chapter 17, verses 10 through 27. Jesus' disciples asked, Why do the Jewish leaders insist Elijah must return before the Messiah comes? Jesus replied, They are right. Elijah must come and set everything in order. And in fact, he has already come. But he wasn't recognized, and was badly mistreated by many. And I, the Messiah, shall also suffer at their hands. Then the disciples realized he was speaking of John the Baptist. When they arrived at the bottom of the hill, the huge crowd was waiting for them. A man came and knelt before Jesus and said, Sir, have mercy on my son, for he is mentally deranged and in great trouble, for he often falls into the fire or into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't cure him. Jesus replied, O you stubborn, faithless people, how long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me. Then Jesus rebuked the demon in the boy and left him, and from that moment the boy was well. Afterwards the disciples asked Jesus privately, Why couldn't we cast out the demon? Because of your little faith, Jesus told them. For if you had faith even as small as a tiny mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, Move, and it would go far away. Nothing would be impossible. But this kind of demon won't leave unless you have prayed and gone without food, where it is fasted, for those who are used to other translations. And one day, while they were still in Galilee, Jesus told them, I am going to be betrayed in the power of those who into the power of those who will kill me. And on the third day afterwards, I will be brought back to life again. And the disciples' hearts were filled with sorrow and dread. On their arrival to Capernaum, the temple tax collectors came to Peter and asked him, Doesn't your master pay taxes? Of course he does, Peter replied. Then he went into the house to talk to Jesus about it. But before he had a chance to speak, Jesus asked him, What do you think, Peter? Do kings levy his assessments against their own people, or against conquered foreigners? Against the foreigners, Peter replied. Well then, Jesus said, the citizens are free. However, we don't want to offend them, so go down to the shore and throw in a line, and open the mouth of the first fish you catch. You will find a coin to cover the taxes for both of us. Take it and pay them. All right, that was the end of Matthew's reading. Now we shall move on to Psalms, chapter 22, verse 1 through 18. Trying to think of anything fun. Nah. Nothing's coming to mind. I apologize. I guess I'm a little zoned up. Um, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why do you refuse to help me, or even to listen to my groans? Day and night, I keep on weeping, crying for your help, but there's no reply. For you are holy. The praises of your fathers surrounded your throne, and they trusted you, and you delivered them. You heard their cries, and you helped me save them. They were never disappointed when they sought your aid. But I am warm. I am a worm, not a man, scorned and despised by my own people, and by all mankind. Everyone who sees me mocks and sneers and shrugs. Is this the one who rolled his burden onto the Lord? They laugh. Is this the one who claims the Lord delights in him? We'll believe it when we see God rescue him. Lord, how long have you helped me before? You took me safely from my mother's womb and brought me through the years of infancy. I have depended upon you since birth. You have always been my God. Don't leave me now. The trouble is near, and no one else can possibly help. I did not realize how close the brah, skater bro voice was to Australian until I tried to read a passage in Skater Bra, and it kept trying to slip into Australian and Irish back and forth, that little triangle there.
I'm surrounded by fearsome enemies, strong as the giant bulls from Bashan. They come at me.
Not dead.
They come at me with open jaws, like roaring lions, attacking their prey. My strength is drained away like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart melts like wax. My strength is dried up in sun-caked clay. My tongue sticks to my mouth, for you've laid me in the dust of death. The enemies, the enemy, this gang of evil men, circles me like a pack of dogs. They have pierced my hands and feet. I can't count every bone in my. I can count every bone in my body. I can count. I can read. See these men of evil gloat and stare. They divide my clothes among themselves by a toss of the dice. That one was a bit more dark than I expected. I assume we get the deliverance next passage. But anyway, on to Proverbs for today, chapter 5, verses 7 through 14. Young men, listen to me, and never forget what I am about to say. Run from her. Don't go near her house, lest you fall to her temptation and lose your honor. And give the remainder of your life to the cruel and merciless, lest strangers obtain your wealth, and you become a slave for foreigners. Lest afterwards you groan in anguish and in shame, when syphilis consumes your body, and, and you say, "Oh, if only I had listened! If only I had not demanded my own way! For why wouldn't I take advice? Why was I so stupid? For I must face public disgrace. For now I must face public disgrace."
My attempt at Sam the Eagle, or just a general uh, strict voice. Uh, well, that's all for today. A little early this time because again, I was so late last time. I felt like y'all deserved it. So I guess that's all. Hope y'all are enjoying the cold and the snow if you're in this part of the country, and wherever you are. I just pray that you have a good day. Enjoy the reading, and of course, most importantly, God bless.